This is me, and all you need to know about me is I used to work at a second-hand Lego store. These are some of the things that happened to me while I worked there. One time, this older fella walks into the store and says he's got a bunch of Lego he wants to sell, but he needs help getting it out of his car. Now that's not that uncommon. A lot of people have those big bins and they can get kind of heavy, so me being the peak of a human fitness goes out to help him. I meet him at his car, and for some reason, there's like 3 dogs sitting politely in every other seat in his sedan. They were just chilling in their seats like the best boys. He opens the back seat door and points at this big, muddy duffel bag on the floor. And I immediately start to get a little worried. Not only because this bag was dirty, but also because when I picked up the bag, it weighed way more than Legos typically do. And it didn't make that rustling sound that a bag full of Legos should make. Instead, it made some kind of like metallic clunking. So yeah, my first thought when I pick up this bag is, these aren't Legos. I guess people just assume that we're a generic toy store or something. In fact, it's because of what was in this man's bag that we had to be as clear as possible everywhere in the store and website that we sold Lego and only Lego. And people still get confused about that. I once had this older gentleman come in asking us in the year of 2023 if we sold Lincoln Logs. And no matter how many times we tried to tell him that we only sell Lego, he wouldn't believe us. Like he was convinced we were hiding them from him or something like that. Even though we tried to tell him Walmart or getting them online, he just got super angry and finally said, "Well, why do you even exist if you just sell Lego?" And then he left. And thank God, too, because he almost found our Lincoln Logs. Another gentleman of the older persuasion arrived one day and he comes up to me at the counter and he says, "I'm looking for a Lego set called Battle of Kursk." That name sounds familiar, but I'm still in Lego mode, so I just figured it's some sort of obscure Star Wars planet or something. No, if you remember the only thing you ever learned in high school, the Battle of Kursk took place in Russia and was one of the most costly battles of World War II. Yeah, suffice to say, I can't find a set like that anywhere in Lego's catalog. So I tell him, and he pulls it up on his phone, and it turns out to be some off-brand Lego set he found on the internet. I, of course, tell him that Lego doesn't make World War II sets, while also hoping that he doesn't notice the Indiana Jones sets on the shelf, like, right behind me. He pauses for a moment, and he looks from me to the picture on his phone and back again a couple times. He gestures to it with his hand and says, "It's right here!" What followed then was me trying to explain to him that Lego is a brand, not a genre, that not all building blocks are Lego, yada yada yada. He ended up leaving genuinely bummed out, and I kind of felt bad for the guy. But anyway, back to dog car duffel bag guy. I take his bag inside and my coworker, I'll call him Spider-Man. Hey, what's up, Spider-Man? He unzips the bag and we all look inside. Inside is a huge pile of action figures. Wolverine, Batman, some Transformers. There's a bunch of tools in here too, some cigarette butts, and they're all covered in that same dirt or mud that was on the outside of the bag, almost like they've been buried at some point. It looked like a bag full of toys that just got done tormenting Sid in his backyard. But you know, there was one thing that was not in the bag. And you know what that is? Lego! Not a single brick. The closest thing I could find was one of those Bionicle McDonald's figures, and not even the cool McTorin ones, the Fantoka ones. These were also covered in copious amounts of dirt. Spider-Man looks at all this and just says, yeah, we can't buy this. In the end, the guy turned out to be really nice, and we had a talk with him about where he could bring his buried treasure, and I ended up bringing the bag back to his car, and it seems like he had one more bit of confusion in store for us, because for some reason, he decided to put the bag, instead of on the floor of the back seat, in the trunk this time. And it turns out his trunk is filled with boxes upon boxes of energy drinks. The thing is, though, this means there's no room for a duffel bag full of a nerd's grave robbery. And he tries to work it in anyway, and it doesn't fit, so he ends up giving me one of the boxes of energy drinks and then just drives away. Some days, a brush with a stranger leaves you with nothing but questions. We took the energy drinks into the store, and they stayed there for a while. The cans were white, light blue, and pink, so my coworkers and I just called it trans juice.